Hey there, hello, hi, my name is Stephen Clark. I am making a game in Unity with next to no experience. First off, I do want to preface this video by saying this isn't technically my first hurrah into game dev. About 2 years ago, I tried to make a 2D pixel art game called newb. I loved the story, I had so much fun making the artwork. Even the song that is playing right now, I wrote myself, but the project was just too big. The story was too large for one person to do. I might come back to it again someday, but instead I decided to try something a little easier. So here I am making a 3D game in Unity with almost no experience whatsoever. And I know what a lot of you are probably thinking right now. 3D is easier than 2D, are you serious? And that's what I thought too. This is me checking out my first tutorial on making a third-person controller in Unity. I had no idea what I was doing and thought, this is hard. But somehow, in just 3 months, I was able to go from this to this. And that is what blows my mind, and that is what I want to share with you guys today. The honest answer is it probably starts with a lot of Google searching. That's how it was for me, and that's how the process continues to go. I feel like I am constantly going to Google and trying to figure out, how do you do this, how do you do that, how do you do this? And sometimes the answers aren't easy to find. I could just probably stop the video right there and just tell you, learn how to search for the answers you're looking for, and eventually you'll figure it out and you will make a game.
But I know obviously there's more to the story than just Googling how to write C# in Unity. For me, it came down to feeling passionate about an idea. One day I was hiking with my girlfriend in the woods, and I heard some people up ahead of us in the mountains singing, but it was just kind of creepy and eerie for some reason. And that is what sparked this idea in my mind about two people hiking in the woods and encountering some sinister people. And it would start with them hearing this chant or this singing in the distance. That idea kept playing through my mind, and eventually it turned into a story. I started to form characters and plots, and it grew into this complete story. I'm still working on the whole outline, but I'm really excited about it, and I think that is what helped fuel a lot of my progress. So I think one of the first places to start is just simply getting excited about something. What gets you excited? Whether it's a game mechanic idea, or in the case of a story-based game, it can just be as simple as one scene that kind of becomes the crux for your entire narrative.
I decided to have the story take place in rural Montana. I've lived there before, I've spent a lot of time hiking in those woods, and so I thought I could put an interesting perspective and try to recreate it in Unity. I knew that I needed a trail, so I kind of started there, just playing around with some assets, textures, the terrain tool, until I had created an entire trail. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to create just picture-perfect AAA quality graphics, so I just really leaned into this kind of crunchy pixel look. For the textures, I actually used pixel art textures. I've got a dirt, stone, grass, and moss texture, and I just kind of layer them together with a low opacity so that I can blend them and try to create this cool look. For a lot of the nature assets, I'm using the low poly nature pack. I think it's really cool, and even though it's a paid asset, it is well worth it. And just by using some of the tools in Unity, I figured out how to quickly decorate my terrain with trees, plants, bushes, and all of the things that make it feel like it's a full real world. And to be honest, looks pretty close to what I remember of hiking in Montana.
No video game or story would be complete without a character, and I knew that I needed to figure out how to do that. I'm not good at making 3D. To solve that problem, I just had to get over my fears, download Blender, and start trying to figure things out. Eventually, I was able to modify a free character and customize it, and I'm really pleased with the results.
I hear a lot of people always talking about, this isn't low poly enough, or this isn't whatever. But the reality is, I figured out in Blender, you can decimate tries in something, you can make it more low poly. What they're usually talking about is the textures being too detailed and too high resolution for the indie look that they're going for. And that is easy to get past too. You can do it in Photoshop, or I even figured out how to do it in Unity. You can just take the textures and then lower the resolution, and almost immediately it looks like it fits your retro look.
Even though my game is still a long ways away from actually being a playable game, I'm really proud of the progress that I've made. And I think a lot of it comes down to just working at it and trying to improve every day. I've heard a lot of people talk about how, practice makes perfect. And you've probably heard that too. The idea is that if you work at something enough, you're going to get better at it. I think this is true, but on the other hand, my experience says that there's a little more to it than that. Maybe you've heard people say that it takes 10,000 hours to become, expert at something. Well, let's say theoretically that you spent 10,000 hours drawing circles. Logic, according to this statement, says that at the end of those 10,000 hours, you are going to be able to draw perfect circles. But is that really the case? In my experience, it's more than just practicing. An important part of doing it is conscious and active learning along the way. If you're not trying to figure out how to make your circles better, what's going to stop you from just drawing crappy circles for 10,000 hours? And I think it's the same in game dev. Break things down into small steps. Don't overwhelm yourself, but instead say, today I'm going to learn something new. And even if it's small, it's a step. For me, it started, okay, today I'm going to learn how to use the terrain tool. And tomorrow, I'm going to learn how to make this elk look like it's eating grass in Blender. Breaking it down into those small steps helps you learn in chunks that you can handle. Your brain isn't going to be overloaded, but every day you're going to feel that sense of accomplishment as you learn something new. And then it makes it that much easier to accomplish even more the next day.
At its core, August 18th is a story of human fortitude and survival. It's a story about humanity. I wanted to ask the character a very important question. And when you're faced with saving yourself or saving another human being, what do you choose? In a way, I envision this game as being kind of this combination of modern games that I love, like The Last of Us, brought together with retro games like the original Resident Evil or Silent Hill.
While the project still needs a ton of work and is honestly buggy as hell, I'm really pleased with what I've accomplished, and I can't wait to keep working on this game and share this story and hopefully make a game that's just fun.
In the end, while I probably have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to game dev, and a lot of you might even be looking at what I'm doing and just ripping your hair out in frustration, I do feel like I have a really good grasp on narrative and storytelling. Someday, I hope that this game is playable and that I can share it with the world. For now, I'm just enjoying having a creative outlet and the ability to consciously learn every day as I do something that I'm coming to really love and enjoy.
Thanks for sticking around with me and checking out my project. I would love to hear what you think about it in the comments. So thanks again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.